welcome to My Brain is a Wonderland, a podcast for neurodivergent women and the people who love them. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here for another episode of My Brain is a Wonderland. I wanted to talk today about a sensory issue that I think probably a lot of neurodivergent people, particularly women, deal with, and that subject is hair. If anyone has been on my Instagram, you can go to My Brain is a Wonderland pod, and my personal Instagram is linked there. If anyone has been there, you'll see that I have short hair, like a pixie cut kind of. And at this point, I've had it for most of my life. I'm 36 years old. I first got a pixie cut when I was 9, grew it out when I was 14, and then cut it again when I was around 22. And I'm 36 now, and I've had it since I was 22, and that time before from 9 to 14. So I want to talk about having short hair, why I have short hair, what led me to that, and how it's related to being neurodivergent. I didn't realize until I was diagnosed and that I have a lot of sensory issues, and that my hair is one of those issues. I actually thought that I was being, and I was at the time and still were a little bit, but thought I was being this huge feminist having short hair. And I am a huge feminist, but really what it was, the real drive behind it, was my sensory issues. So, growing up, I was raised by a single mom. My dad died when I was 4 years old, and my mom always wanted me to be kind of girly, I think. She wasn't particularly. She had short hair, but she wanted me to be girly. She tried to get my ears pierced when I was a baby. My father, who was a Catholic, said no. I had long hair growing up and wore dresses and stuff. So I would have my really long hair, you know, the kind that's past your shoulders. It was grown from a baby, I think, and had very long hair as a child. And it was kind of an ordeal to have long hair. I grew up in the UK, so, you know, it would get braided in the winter and wet, and it would still be wet like a day later when we would take the braid out, a day or two, because it was so freaking cold. But basically what would happen is my mom would, you know, brush my hair, and there would be knots in my hair. And I would just be a mess. I mean, screaming, crying, reacting really badly to having my hair brushed. And, you know, my mom, this isn't something I actually remember because I was so young, but my mom, I guess, would be shouting at me, you know, do you want long hair? You know, in this kind of way that's, if you want long hair, I have to brush it. And I would scream, you know, no, I don't want long hair. I don't give a flying bleh. You know, I didn't care. It bothered me. I didn't enjoy having long hair. The brushing was just insufferable. And that was my childhood with my hair. So around age 7 to 8, I want to say, we started going to a swimming pool with school. So I didn't have a swimming pool in my elementary school, but we would go to a local swimming place. And during the day, on the coach, a bus, and during the day, and we would get swimming lessons. And I went to these swimming lessons with my entire class, and what ended up happening is all the boys could just swim freely, but all the girls had to wear swimming caps. You know, those horrible rubberized hell caps. I mean, they just feel awful. Like, you know, an octopus is squeezing my brain out of my nose or something. I mean, I hated them. And so I asked when I was 7 or 8, how come the boys don't have to wear them, but the girls have to wear them? This is horrible. And, like, you had to put talcum powder on and rubberize it to your brain. It was just horrible. And someone said, I don't know who it was, my mom, teacher, whoever, said, the reason you have to wear it and the boys don't is that the boys have short hair. Well, let me tell you, that was it. I'm done. I was done. I'm sorry. The reason they don't have to wear this horrible thing is because they have short hair. Then cut my hair off, please. Like, get it gone. Get it done. I don't need long hair. There's no reason for me to have it. So I'm guessing, like I said, this was 7 to 8 years old. And at 9 years old, I did end up having it completely cut off. So what happened is around this time, from age 4 or 5, I was obsessed with an Australian soap opera. Any English people listening, probably Australian too, could guess at one of two of them, and the soap opera was Neighbours. And Neighbours, I'm not sure if I've spoken about this before. I did during my accent episode, because I took on an Australian accent. So Neighbours is an Australian soap opera that was played twice a day for decades. It's still going, I think, but it's about to end. They're about to close it out. And a bunch of Australian celebrities came out of this show. And so on that show was a character. Her name was Danny. She was a fashion designer, and she had short hair. This kind of 90s, 80s short hair, which was buzzed in the back and then long in the front, kind of. And I was obsessed with her, obsessed with Neighbours. So at the age of 9, I said, I want to get my hair cut short like Danny. So we went to the local hair salon, which is where my grandmother, my nan, went for years and would take me. So I was comfortable with the guy. I knew the space. I used to go there like once a month for years. Went there with a TV Guide magazine with an article about the actress or Danny or whoever. And it had photos of her from different angles. Took that in, and he cut my hair. And that was the beginning of a life-changing experience. I loved that haircut. I mean, I absolutely loved it. So I was 9 years old, and I kept that haircut until I was about 14. I was in high school at the time, and during one summer, I decided that I was going to grow my hair out because I was kind of wanting to attract the opposite sex, unfortunately. I hate to say that that's the reason, but that really was what it was. With me having the short hair, I also dressed as a quote-unquote tomboy. That word from the 80s, 90s. Which now I think is just dressing normally, however the freak you want. But I would dress in baggy jeans, baggy combat pants, and baggy shirts and that kind of thing. So people would think I was a boy. And I'm trying to, I'm kind of getting engaged with my sexuality, getting attracted to people, and I wanted to seem that I was a female. And for people to know that I wasn't, to be sexually attractive, so I decided to grow out my hair. And I completely don't support this now. I have short hair now, and I think it is the hottest thing. I think it's super cute. I love it. I'd never change it. But that's how I saw myself back then, and it's kind of sad to think now that that is what I thought of myself. So over the summer, I started growing it. And if anyone remembers the 90s and early 2000s, there was this hairstyle where you would kind of have bits of hair, sections of hair going backwards away from your face, and then you'd have clips halfway along your head holding those pieces of hair. It was a super late 90s, early 2000s hairstyle. That's what I started rocking, and it started growing out, and then I grew it out into a ponytail and grew it out into really long hair again. And from age around, it took a couple of years to fully grow it out. From age around 16 to 22, I had really long curly hair. I have curly hair. And it would take every morning maybe 30 to 45 minutes to get it ready, first of all. So I'd use a diffuser, upside down, all these different products, and it just took forever. And what happened is I graduated from college, started my first job, and I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with getting up every day, getting ready, showering, eating breakfast, brushing my teeth, putting clothes on, and spending 30 to 45 minutes on my hair. I just couldn't do it. So I ended up at the age of 22, I had my hair cut off again. I was just over it. And I realize now, because every time my hair grows a bit, even an inch, and then I get it cut, if I've waited a while, I hate the heat that clings to your head when you have a lot of hair. I hate the itching. I hate the feel of it on my neck. I just cannot stand it. So I think it gets on my autism that this, or whatever, wherever my sensory issues come from, it gets on those. But then it also bothers me in this way where I don't have the energy to get my hair ready like this every day. 30 to 45 minutes. Are you kidding me? This is just crazy. So I cut my hair at the age of 22. I'm 36 now. I've never grown it out since. And I don't think I ever will. I've thought about it fleetingly once or twice, but I just can't see why I would do it. If anyone's wondering about how I get my hair cut, now I cut my own hair. So every 2 to 4 weeks, I cut my own hair at home. I grew up with my mom cutting her own hair, and I'm pretty sure my mom's neurodivergent as well. And she didn't like going to the hair salon, and also we couldn't always afford it. So just cut your own hair. And I'll go to the hair salon sometimes and pay for a haircut, and they never cut it the way I want them to. I mean, do you ever experience that? I'll say to people, cut it this short, and they'll tell me, oh, I don't. Just freaking cut it. What I'm telling you, cut it. I'm paying you. And so, or, they do that thing where you say, only cut this much, and then they cut a bunch of it. Ugh, so annoying. So I cut my own hair at home now, and it's super short, and it's how I like it. Living in Florida with the heat, I cannot imagine having long hair. I just cannot imagine it. So I just wanted to put that out there for everyone, or anyone who, if you're considering getting a pixie cut, I just want to say go for it. If you're thinking about it, it's hair. It grows back. If you don't like it, put on a headband, start styling it with little things. It's not a big deal. There's a lot of talk about this stupid thing of if it suits. Whenever I tell people to cut their hair, they always tell me, oh, it doesn't suit me. I don't have a face for it. Your face is made for hair, however it is, however you want it to be. Okay? And another thing about short hair is there are lots of different styles. I tend to wear it really short on the back and a little bit longer on the top, but still pretty short. There are so many different short hairstyles that you can have to shape your face that will work for you. If you're considering it, definitely look online for photos of people who've done different short hairstyles. But don't be discouraged by this, oh, it doesn't suit certain types of people. If you've been thinking about it, get it done. And if you don't like it, just grow it back. It's not a big deal, honestly. It's really not a big deal. And it's so freeing to be able to run your fingers through your hair and have your partner run your fingers through your hair. It's just so lovely. So if you have any questions about that, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions about what it's like to have short hair, cut your own hair, you can reach out to me on my Brain is a Wonderland pod on Instagram and TikTok. And my email is mybrainisawonderlandpod@gmail.com. And if you are liking what you're hearing, if you are enjoying what I'm saying, please go to wherever you're listening to your podcasts and leave a review. I'd love the feedback. I'd love that interaction with you. However you want to reach out, please do. And I'll see you next time on my Brain is a Wonderland pod. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.